We visit Dr. Gabi Barkei to discuss archaeology at the Temple Mount. In wake of the claims according to which Israel is excavating under the Dome of the Rock and harming Muslim structures, Dr. Barkei clarifies that the truth is the opposite. It's the Arabs who have acted against the status quo, he says.
As one of the sad results of the very sad Oslo Accords, the status quo upon the Temple Mount changed entirely in the 1990s. Instead of a status quo which was maintained upon the Temple Mount for centuries, which had two major Islamic mosques, we have today four different mosques, including the subterranean gigantic mosque of Solomon's Stables. The activities of the Islamic Trust, the Waqf, included also an illicitly dug without any proper supervision, a gigantic pit about 12 meters in depth, 40 meters in length. That large pit was dug with bulldozers, that is to say, in a most barbaric way, in the most delicate place of the history of this country and the history of the Jewish people. The barbaric act removed 400 truckloads of earth saturated with archaeological material from the Temple Mount, and all that was dumped into the Kidron Valley nearby.
In response to the digging and the removal of earth from the Temple Mount, the sifting project was initiated.
The only moral and logical thing to do is to look through that material and to find out what can we save, what information can be saved from this destruction, from this barbaric act. So, under the auspices of the City of David Foundation and under the auspices of Bar Ilan University, since 2004, we carry out a project of sifting the soil from the Temple Mount, and this project is under the directorship of myself and Tzachi Zweig. We both run it with the help of volunteers, and it has also a very important educational value. We have had until now approximately 55,000 volunteers of all facets of society, soldiers, children, university students, families, yeshiva students, tourists, Christians, as well as Jews, and all kinds and types of people. They have an opportunity to touch with their own hands, to have their hands put upon the history of Jerusalem and the history of the most important place in the world, which is the Temple Mount. The Temple Mount, which is the place where the binding of Isaac took place, which is the place where David built his altar, which is the place believed to be the center of earth and the first created by the Almighty, the place where Solomon built the first temple and the returnees to Zion built the second temple, has not been excavated. The Temple Mount, because of the zealous attitude of the Islamic authorities, was never touched by the spade of an archaeologist, and this is the only opportunity we have to learn something about the material culture and about human heritage upon the Temple Mount, in addition, of course, to the texts which we have in the Bible, in the Mishnah, and in various other sources. We have had until now tens of thousands of finds, pieces that are material evidence for the entire history of the Temple Mount, which is one of the most intricate points in the history of this country.
We asked Dr. Barkei if his activities are sponsored and promoted by the authorities.
Listen, all what we do just exposes the short-handedness of the authorities in safeguarding the Temple Mount. The Temple Mount is a delicate point. I'm well aware of the political sensitivity of the place, but I believe that there is no way that the State of Israel, being responsible for the Temple Mount, should allow any destruction of cultural values and religious values upon the Temple Mount. The safeguarding of that should be upon the shoulders of the Israeli authorities.
Dr. Barkay is a longtime veteran in his field. He tells us about his most significant finding around 30 years ago.
We were digging at Ketef Hinnom, which is right above the valley of Hinnom. Over there we found a series of 7 burial caves dating back to the late First Temple period, to the time of Prophet Jeremiah, time of King Josiah. We came upon a hoard of more than 1,000 objects, including pottery, jewelry, weapons, and all kinds and types of objects. Among the finds, there were about 125 pieces made of silver, and those included also 2 tiny objects which looked like cigarette butt. It is about 1 inch in size, and it took us 3 years to unroll them. And later on we found out that they are densely inscribed. The first word which was inscribed in ancient Hebrew script that I could decipher was the unpronounceable name of God. That already triggered much interest, and finally we found out that there are more appearances of the same word, and if there is a triple appearance of the name of the Lord, that is obviously the priestly benediction or Birkat Kohanim. Yevarechecha Hashem v'yishmerecha. These words predate the very famous Dead Sea Scrolls by several centuries and comprise the earliest biblical verses known all around the world. This is 2,600 years old, from the 7th century BC, from the time of Prophet Jeremiah.
The revelation of the findings was exciting for all who participated in the dig. Dr. Barkay tells us about his personal feelings when the biblical text was revealed.
I was born at a time and place that nobody should be born. I'm a product of the ghetto during the Second World War, and I spent my first years of my life in the Gola in Hungary, and the words of Birkat HaKohanim, the priestly benediction, in very heavy Ashkenazi pronunciation are still heard in my voice as they were uttered by my father, the late, who used the very same words to bless me when we came back from shul 65 years ago in Hungary. In any case, the words of Yevarechecho Hashem v'yishmerecho, they are very touching for me personally as well.
Many of the archaeological findings he encountered throughout the years can indeed serve as proof of historical Jewish presence in Jerusalem and in the land of Israel. But Dr. Gabi Barkay feels that he needs no proof, and neither should anyone else.
Jerusalem is the capital of the Jewish people. Jerusalem is the place where most of the Bible was written. Jerusalem was made capital by King David, and Solomon's temple stood there. This was the arena of the prophets. This was the center of belief of Jews, and I don't need any proof for that. That is well evident in all the written sources, and I don't need the archaeological evidence for that. But on the other hand, it is very touching, very emotional to see something which is preserved until this very day and goes back to First Temple period. Yes, it is a very emotionally touching object, but it doesn't prove a thing concerning our rights to the city or something like that. Our rights are well established without this find, and the find itself just adds to our knowledge of material culture and spiritual world of people in Jerusalem 2,600 years ago.